And can anyone say what are the experiments you have done in the lab? Can you summarize the experiments? Few experiments you have done with urine sample, right? You have done with urine sample. Now let's see about blood samples analysis. So today we'll move on to blood or serum analysis. The remaining urine experiments, when you are coming to college, you will be performing. Okay, whichever you have not done will be repeated and will be done in the lab. Now we'll discuss regarding blood and serum analysis. Already you have seen in the theory we have discussed role of clinical chemistry laboratory, how to collect sample and what are the different containers we are using for collecting this blood sample, and this all we have discussed. And here the third part we need to discuss here is under blood and serum analysis. The analysis will be done based on using instrument called calorimeter. Okay, you will be using calorimeter, and from which you will be learning taking the readings. So from instrumental analysis only you are going to get the measurements or normal levels. You are going to quantitatively determine by using instrumental methods of analysis. Unlike other techniques where you have used titration method for urine sample analysis, right, and qualitative test you have done. Mostly blood analysis will be following all quantitative estimations. In for that case we'll be using what instrument? Calorimeter. So that calorimetric analysis will be performed, and this follows the law called as Beer-Lambert's law. Here you can see Beer-Lambert's law. So calorimetric analysis follows Beer-Lambert's law. And this regarding calorimetry and about Beer-Lambert's law you will be studying in third year only. Just you have to know it is a type of what type of technique it is and how to operate the instrument only you are learning here. Okay. Calorimetry follows spectroscopic principle. It is otherwise known as spectroscopic technique. Okay, where you will get the spectrum for your sample and along with absorbance. According to Beer-Lambert's law, the absorption of light. Okay, here you can see this line. Absorption of light transmitted through the medium is directly proportional to medium concentration. That means it is directly absorption of radiation is directly proportional to concentration of your sample. So from knowing concentration we could analyze the amount present in the sample, how much amount of that particular biomolecule is present in the blood sample what you have collected. Okay, that is accurately measured through absorption analysis using calorimeter. So that the technique is called calorimetric analysis. Okay, in this you will be finding two types of techniques. In calorimetry you will be finding two techniques. One is a direct comparison. Only you will be taking sample absorbance and that will be compared with standard. So one method is called as direct comparison method. Quantitative methods are known as direct comparison method. And second one is called as calibration curve method. Let me type the methods in your chat box. Comparison method. Second one is calibration curve method. These two methods are commonly followed to find the concentration of sample present in the body fluid, and from which you can calculate the exact amount of bioconstituent present in the body fluid, that is collected blood sample. Okay, and you can convert the blood sample in what way you need to according to the biomolecule analysis, either nature of biomolecule analysis, either it is protein or non-protein substance. Based on that you can use either serum or plasma or whole blood, like the different types of blood samples will be made and it will be analyzed. After collecting the whole blood, either you will be preparing serum If you want to analyze constituents present in the serum, you will be using serum sample. If it is in plasma, then plasma sample. If it is in whole blood, then whole blood sample will be analyzed. What are the two quantitative methods then you will be following to analyze the sample? Direct comparison and calibration curve method, where these two methods will be followed by colorimetric analysis. Okay, through colorimetric analysis. Instrument, since instrument used is colorimeter, then it is called as colorimetric analysis, and it is otherwise known as spectroscopic analysis. Spectroscopic analysis, the term you will not be knowing, be typing here. Spectroscopic analysis. Okay, it is of spectroscopic analysis. Spectroscopy means we'll be using radiation for sample. What type of radiation? Electromagnetic radiation will be applied onto the sample, passed onto the sample, and this sample will be absorbing the light. It is able to absorb the light. So according to the intensity of absorption, we can find out the concentration of sample present in it. That's what Beer-Lambert's law says. Absorbance is directly proportional to concentration. So that concept we are taking for quantification purpose. That means absorbance is directly proportional to concentration. Concentration of your sample. That is the concept says by Beer-Lambert's law. So that we are using colorimetric analysis. So it will be very accurate, since taking blood sample, 1 drop of blood is that much valuable, right? So we cannot waste sample just like, so that we need to collect blood sample, and it must be quantified with highly sophisticated instrument. Okay, so with instrumental analysis only we could analyze the concentration of sample present in the body fluid. Like what are all the constituents you are going to test in the blood will be done in the few coming experiments. It is just introduction part of blood sample analysis. Okay, so in the blood and serum analysis, here the things are given for how to collect blood sample, what are the various types of blood sample, what are the containers are used for taking various samples, and then how it is analyzed. For analysis purpose only we are using colorimeter, and which was not discussed in theory part. That's why I'm discussing here. Okay, and you have learned how to blood containers are used for collecting various kind of blood samples, and what are the fluids we are generally analyzing. Everything we have discussed, right, regarding blood sample analysis. If we have not discussed about analysis part of that sample, where how it is analyzed by using colorimetric method. Okay, colorimetry is nothing but spectroscopy, visible spectroscopy. It is a kind of spectroscopy, and it is otherwise called as visible spectroscopy. Visible, and that term also you will not be knowing. This is spectroscopy of visible spectroscopy. It is visible spectroscopy. UV visible you should have heard. So it is a kind of UV visible spectroscopy. And it follows what law? Beer-Lambert's law. What Beer-Lambert's law says? Absorption is directly proportional to concentration. Based on that concept, we will be proceeding with the analysis of sample. Okay. In here, the light will be absorbed. Absorbance is directly proportional to concentration. And what are the methods to interpret the concentration of sample with the standard? One is direct comparison method. That means sample absorbance is compared with standard absorbance. Standard means it will be of known concentration, where sample will be of unknown concentration. So you don't know in the blood sample how much concentration of your sample or biomolecule is there. Where in standard you will be knowing what is the amount of biomolecule is there. So when you take the standard absorbance, it is of known concentration, is directly compared with the absorbance of sample. So when you know all the parameters, you can calculate the concentration. of sample. That's what you will be following mostly. And another method I told is calibration curve method. In calibration curve method, a series of standards are taken, and you have done urine creatinine analysis. No, you have plotted a graph using calibration curve. So similar type of method is called as calibration curve method. Here minimum of 5 standard concentrations, that means known concentration of standard solution is prepared, and that absorbance of those 5 set of standards will be compared with the sample through calibration curve plot. When you are extrapolating, the known absorbance of unknown concentration sample will be extrapolated and the slope is calculated, and what concentration is lies in the graph that represents the concentration of sample. So this is another method. So these two methods are followed for identifying the concentration of sample. Okay, what are the two methods? Direct comparison. One standard is compared with one sample, where in calibration curve method, 5 set of standards will be prepared, and the calibration curve or plot, a graph is plotted, and from which we can calculate the unknown concentration of sample. Sample absorbance will be known from the instrumental analysis, and where we will be calculating, what will be calculating? Concentration from the known concentration of standards, it will be calculated. So likewise, two techniques are commonly used as quantitative analysis for blood sample analysis. Okay, and here are called as quality control methods. Internal quality control and external quality control will be there for analyzing and checking your accuracy of the standards, means accuracy of the results. To check that, we'll be having internal and external quality control procedures, laboratory procedures. We need to follow exact quality control procedures, then only we can analyze and we can meet out the requirements for body fluids analysis only. That's what said in internal and external quality control of laboratory analysis. So all the procedures from the collection of blood, from taking care of patients, how to collect, what are all the procedures, everything we need to follow with the standard guidelines. Whatever prescribed in standard guidelines, that is to be followed for giving safety, and that is of quality one we need to use, and this will be monitored by internal quality audit peoples and external quality audit peoples, and that is called as internal quality control and external quality control. And safety remarks regarding your sample collection. So you will be using the needle, disposable needle will be used for collecting the sample. Before that, you need to sanitize your finger. Mostly from finger, a drop of blood will be taken for analysis. You will be taking your own blood only during analysis. Okay, and you need to wear gloves, all safety measures during analysis, like what procedures you have followed for urine sample analysis, the same should be used. So it should be carried out in a clean place only, where it should be sterilized with sterilizing agents. Mostly you'll be using spirit for a sterilization purpose. And then you need to, while that people who is collecting the blood must wear gloves and masks. It's all the things you need to follow, and the needle should be properly disposed after using. And then the collected blood, either you want to make serum or you want to make plasma, whatever, accordingly you need to add reagents and you need to make it. Okay, for analysis. So this is how blood sample you will be using, collecting for your quantitative and qualitative analysis. In this, according to your syllabus, qualitative analysis, and this is the first experiment under blood or serum analysis. This will be coming as minor experiment in your exams. Okay, preparation of Folin tungstate filtrate from blood. That's what experiment you are going to see today. Only qualitative analysis, how to prepare a protein free filtrate. Folin tungstate filtrate is known as protein-free filtrate that we'll discuss now. And from the next class, we'll be seeing how quantitatively biomolecules are estimated from blood sample. Now let's see about what is qualitative analysis, how we will prepare Fluorine tungstate filtrate, and it will come under only preparation. So it is you are knowing how to prepare protein free filtrate, so it will come under a minor experiment and considered as qualitative analysis. So aim is to prepare and submit Fluorine tungstate filtrate from the given blood sample. You are preparing Fluorine tungstate. WU represents tungstate, tungstic acid. Hope you have heard tungstic acid. So that is represented with WU. Okay, Fluorine tungstate filtrate from blood. Blood sample, whole blood sample. So you need to collect whole blood sample, and from which the filtrate is taken. Why it is to be prepared means this type of filtrate only is used for analyzing many constituents, biomolecules from blood. So what all the constituents are tested, everything we'll discuss now. For this, what are the chemicals required means, so Fluorine tungstate filtrate is what otherwise known as protein free filtrate. Proteins are free, meaning filtering proteins present in the blood sample. What are the proteins present? All plasma proteins, if enzymes, everything is present, means it will be removed from the blood by means of adding tungstic acid, Fluorine tungstic acid. Okay, so that only it is called as Fluorine tungstate filtrate. What is other name for this? Protein free filtrate. If somebody asks how you will prepare protein free filtrate, you have to remember it is Fluorine tungstate filtrate from the blood sample. So for this, what chemicals we require? Definitely tungstic acid solution, and that is of salt solution. Sodium tungstate solution of 10% is required, and 2/3 normal sulfuric acid. So in an acidic medium, it is going to give filtration of proteins, so that these two reagents are must. And sodium tungstate is more expensive. We can go with trichloroacetic acid also, and it is also applicable for the same purpose, filtering proteins from the blood. So we'll be using either sodium tungstate solution in sulfuric acid acidic medium, or we can go with 10% trichloroacetic acid solution. So what are the two reagents you have learned that will be added for preparing protein free filtrate? Sodium tungstate solution of 10% and 2/3 normal sulfuric acid, or 10% trichloroacetic acid solution. Okay. So what are the reagents for preparing a protein-free filtrate? Can anyone answer? What are the reagents? Deprotonating reagents. We can call it as deprotonating reagents. What are called as deprotonating reagents? So no
10% of sodium tungstate solution.
Okay.
And 2/3 and sulfuric acid, or 10% of trichloroacetic acid solution.
Okay, pa. Thank you, Ajita. Thank you. Thank you for listening and answering also. So it is prepared. So we can use any of two reagents. Mostly in our lab, trichloroacetic acid will be using. Okay. And apparatus required: test tubes, beaker 100 ml, funnel, and filter paper. So in test tubes, you will be collecting your blood sample, and in beaker, using funnel and filter paper, you will be filtering of the protein-free filtrate. And that filtrate is taken for quantitative estimation of bioconstituents present in the protein-free filtrate. Okay. So what are the bioconstituents you will be analyzing by making for protein-free filtrate? Means nitrogen containing compounds. Okay, nitrogen containing compounds. That means protein also. Why we need to deprotonate the blood means proteins are having what is the functional group? Amide linkage, diamides. right? Amide linkage, and it is having nitrogen in it, so it will also interfere with the quantitative estimation of nitrogen containing other biomolecules. For example, creatinine, uric acid, urea. So these are all the substances. Some other substances also will be included that we'll be discussing later. So yeah, mainly for uric acid, urea determination and creatinine determination, you will be definitely using protein-free filtrate. Even for blood glucose estimation also, protein-free filtrate is preferred. Since to avoid the interference of proteins with that constituents, we are adding this deprotonating agent to filter off the proteins. That is the main concept of preparing this protein-free filtrate. Okay. Coming to the principle, the same what we have till now discussed. Deprotonation is the process. D represents deletion of proteins. So deprotonation is the process using Folin tungstate method. And for this purpose, test tubes are of Folin tungstate tubes itself are available. In that we will be preparing. You will be taking the sample and you will be preparing with the Folin tungstate tubes itself. Okay, you can find in our lab. I'll be showing you when you are coming to the lab what is Folin tungstate test tubes. So in that test tubes only you will be collecting the blood sample, and to that you will be adding deprotonating agents like sodium tungstate or trichloroacetic acid will be added, and the precipitate is collected and it will be filtered off using the filter paper, and that filtrate, not residue, filtrate will be taken for the analysis. And the proteins present in the blood are precipitated by tungstic acid. Okay, the filtrate is known as protein free filtrate, and this tungstic acid will act as anion. What actual principle is, it will act as anion, and it will be converting. Protein also can act as anion, right? So that the interaction will occur with the proteins and it will be precipitated out as tungstate forms. Okay, so that only tungstic acid is added. Because of anionic nature of tungstate, it will be precipitating proteins. Since protein can exist in both the forms, positive and negative form, it is a Zwitter ion, and it will exist as a Zwitter ion. So that since it is having amino group and carboxyl group, amide linkage is formed between amino and carboxyl, CO and NH, so that protein can exist as amine or carboxyl form. Carboxyl form is anionic form, amino form is cationic form, so it can exist in two forms. Okay, so the filtrate formed from tungstic acid, based on that concept only, tungstic acid is reacting with proteins to precipitate all the proteins. So we'll get the protein free filtrate, and this method is based on the precipitation of proteins in blood by large anions. What are large anions? Tungstic acid, tungstate anions. Tungstate also will be tungstic acid, means it will be having carboxylic acid in it. So when it is in ionic form, in solution form, it will exist as tungstate, that is COO minus. So the carboxyl group that is of large anion, it is considered as large anions, and this anions will precipitate the protein. So on adding the acid, the blood is lacked very rapidly and the hemoglobin is changed to acid hematine. Here hemoglobin will change to acid hematine. So no precipitate is obtained until the sodium tungstate is added. So only adding acid, that is sulfuric acid, since as in acidic media only tungstate is added. So when you add only sulfuric acid, it will not be converted to precipitate, where hemoglobin is changed to only hematine. Where when the sodium tungstate is added, then the color of residue is reddish brown and the color of filtrate is colorless is obtained. That means protein is started precipitating once the tungstate is added. Since tungstate only considered as anion, and that will be precipitating all proteins. Only sulfuric acid is added to make the condition as acidic form. So it is to maintain acidic medium only. So in an acidic medium, sodium tungstate is precipitating all the proteins because of its anionic nature. Okay, so once the proteins are precipitated, the residue will appear like reddish brown color and you will be getting colorless filtrate. How the filtrate appears means, let me show you after this explanation. how the color of filtrate and the residue will appear. So before filtration, how it will be, protein free filtrate, how it appears will be shown from the picture. Then procedure, what you will be doing in a test tube, measure 7 ml of water, then add 1 ml of blood or plasma or serum, any of these 3 type of blood sample, any of 3. Okay, so mostly you'll be taking whole blood. 1 ml of blood, how much you need to take? 1 ml. So after following all safety measures, you will be collecting the blood, and that blood will be added to the test tube. Here the test tube represents Foley tungstate test tube. To that, before taking blood, you will be adding 7 ml water. After then, with the 7 ml test tube of water, you need to add 1 ml blood or plasma. Then mix gently, then add 1 ml of 10% sodium tungstate solution. Then add 1 ml of sulfuric acid drop by drop with constant stirring. Allow it to stand for 5 minutes and then filter. So the filtrate is known as protein-free filtrate. Okay, so this is how deproteination is carried out with a human blood sample, and the protein-free filtrate is produced from human blood sample by Foley tungstate method. So you need to report like this. And in discussion you need to write what are all the molecules analysis we need to prepare Foley tungstate filtrate. Importance and the mechanism can be discussed here in discussion, that you need to write and submit. So it is very simple experiment, just preparing filtrate by using the reagents. You need to write a discussion part in your observation and write the chemical mechanism, chemical reaction behind the proteins and tungstic acid, how it forms the precipitate. So precipitate will be of some chemical, filtrate will be carrying some chemical, so that is we are going to quantitatively estimate. These two things you need to refer and write in your observation. The same you have to copy and upload in the classroom. Okay, so while coming directly will be evaluated. Now I will be giving marks by seeing your performance in the classroom itself. The same marks will be given in the observation and manual when you are coming directly to the college. Okay, so this is how your practical classes will be handled. So let me show you the color change of protein-free filtrate. Just a minute. So let me stop sharing this and we'll share you the color change now. Can you observe the color change? This is this is the protein free filtrate, and this is how before filtration how your blood sample appears. So reddish brown color formation occurs. So once you add a tungstic acid, it will be getting precipitated. Once you filtered off, you will get the clear solution. So this is how the color change occurs during protein free filtrate preparation. Can you observe? Can you see the color change of blood samples? After filtration, this is how it will be appearing. Okay, this will be appearing. So you need to write what type of anions, means how the reaction between tungstate and protein, chemical reaction you need to write, and what are the constituents are tested from the protein-free filtrate. As a discussion part, you write it. If some more information, if you get also, that also to be included in discussion part. So write and submit. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping the explanation for this practicals. In the next class, we'll be seeing quantitative estimation in the next week class.
When to submit, ma'am?
Today itself. Now itself you can write. Another half an hour is there, no? Now 3:30 only. In another 30 minutes, you write and upload it, scan and upload it. Take a half an hour or late also. Even before 4:30, you can submit. Okay. Is it
Okay.
possible? Since all
Okay.
30 are attended, no? So I think it will be possible with all to submit by 4:30. Okay. If any issues, you can message me and submit late also, no problem. Okay. But I need material from all. And Gautam, have you submitted the assignment for first sessional? Since you were sick, you were not able to submit, you said, right? If you have submitted, kindly message me so that I will be evaluating. Okay.
அவன் ஆப்ஷன் மேம் இன்னைக்கு.
What ma?
He is absent மேம்.
Absent. Then 30 are there, no? Absent only, yeah. Okay. Okay, when he is preparing, just inform him to submit the assignment. Okay, pa. Okay, thank you. We'll start the class. If any doubt, you can ask me now.
Ma'am, my assignment you didn't correct, ma'am.
Your assignment is not evaluated, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
I have evaluated, no, all the assignments.
No, ma'am. For me, no comment is there, ma'am.
Okay, your marks you couldn't see. If I comment only, you could see the marks. Okay, I'll be showing you the marks. Just wait. Just wait. I will share your assignment marks. Let me stop recording and will share you.